So Josh, what's happening, man?
Oi bro, so I bought this Audi S3 on the weekend and you won't believe what was in it. It's full of maggots, man. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. I got something special for the viewers. I'm gonna be leaving this $100 note somewhere in Cairns, and to find it, you're gonna have to keep watching because I'm gonna leave 2 clues in this video as to where it is. So stay tuned and hopefully it's you who finds this $100 bill. And not only that, while I was working on the Audi, my truck was stolen from me, literally when I was like 2 meters away from it. Anyway, we'll get back to that. Let's head into the workshop and check out this Audi. So guys, I purchased an Audi from the auctions down in Brisbane. It had some damage on it, some panel damage to the side. I think it was a drug deal gone bad or something like that. The sunroof was smashed in, driver's side window, passenger side rear window was smashed, and a bunch of panel damage on one side. So I've spent the last few days, I replaced the glass while I was down there in Brisbane. Because the glass was smashed and it wasn't undercover, the car did unfortunately fill up with water. So there's been some water damage to a couple of the modules on the floor, and the carpet was just really, really icky and gross. So I spent the weekend basically removing all of the carpet, all of the interior, and getting all of that dried out, cleaned, and getting ready to put back together. While that was happening, on Saturday, I had somebody come and steal my truck literally while it was right next to me. I'm blown away. I can't believe that our society's kids have stooped to such a low level that they think that this type of thing is cool. It blows my mind. But in saying that, what's happened is they have poked the sleeping bear, and the bear is now awake. So if you want to see what I've got in store for these little brats, hang around to the end of the video and I'm going to show you my plan. But in the meantime, let me tell you about this Audi and what I got in store for it.
Okay guys, this is a 2017 model Audi S3. It's got a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo engine, which makes a little bit over 306 horsepower or 295 foot-pounds of torque. I have to say, this thing is beautiful to drive. It is so smooth and such a nice interior. I'm really sold on the Audi. This is the first Audi I've ever purchased, the first one I've ever driven, and I love it. Unfortunately for this car, I was unable to save the 2 front seats or the rear seats. The water in the floor just soaked into the leather and just destroyed it. I was unable to save them. However, I did manage to get a second-hand set of seats from Sydney, as well as back seats and the 2 modules I needed to fix the electrical problems. All up, it was only around $2.5 grand for everything I needed to fix this car. However, shipping it from Sydney to here was where they stung me. It cost me $1,000 to move a couple of seats and 2 small modules up to Cairns, and the reason why is because of the airbags. They're considered dangerous items and nobody wants to move them. So unfortunately, I had to pay the $1,000 and just wear that cost. Now, as you can see from the outside, I've been fixing the panel work here, getting it ready for paint, as we're going to be painting the entire side of this vehicle as well as a small section of the roof. But overall, even with the flaws in this car, I have to say I'm very impressed with the drivability and all the features and functions it comes with as a standard car.
Okay guys, so the next thing I need to do with this Audi is get this side painted. So first thing we've got to do is mask up the whole car, get it in the booth and get all that paint on. Unfortunately, the paint that I've already purchased for this car was stolen when my car was stolen on the weekend. So we're going to have to pay a visit to the paint shop and get some more paint. But I want to get this paint job done so that when the seats get here, we can just bolt them in and then this car is good to go. So let's get stuck into it. Okay guys, so we got the car in the booth. We're ready to go. The booth's being cleaned. The next job is masking this entire car up. So everywhere we don't want paint, we've got to cover up because we're just painting this edge here. Okay guys, so we've finished the paint job. To be honest, this is not my favorite work, I have to say. There's a lot of little weird things that happen, like little dots that ended up in the paint. Looks like, I don't know what they are. I'm hoping we're gonna be able to buff these little marks out after I block the clear back. I put 4 thick coats of clear on it, so we've got plenty of room there to block it back, and then we'll buff the entire car, and hopefully we'll get all these little dust imperfections and stuff like that out of the paint, and we'll get this back to a showroom finish. Okay guys, so we have finished the paint job for the Audi. Didn't quite go as planned, so we are going to redo that at a later stage. There are a few other things that we've changed in the interior. I've added them new seats, fixed almost all of the interior parts. There's still a couple little things that we're waiting on, but it was good to actually get out and drive this car on the road. I've been driving it for the past few weeks and I absolutely love this car. However, I have found a problem. Okay guys, so we're out in the Audi. I want to show you the problem that I found. The problem is with the clutch. We've got a slipping clutch in this car, and I want to show you the difference in performance from a slipping clutch to a non-slipping clutch. Now these cars have a dual clutch system, and it's really cool the way they work. As it changes gears, it switches to a different clutch. So if you're in second gear and you're getting ready to change to third, when it changes to second, it already sets up third gear change on the second clutch, and then obviously flips back to the other clutch when you go to fourth and fifth and so on. And that's how they're able to get really quick gear changes out of these boxes. The problem is here, we've got one of them slipping, and it's really interesting because sometimes the clutch grabs really good, and then other times it doesn't, and that's because one of them slipping, you're either getting the one that's grabbing or you're getting the one that's not. So I'm going to show you what it's like just taking off now and doing a quick 0 to 100. I'm going to show you the dash, and then we're going to do a drag race with a stock standard brand spanking new WRX versus this Audi S3. This Audi has definitely been chipped. I don't know what sort of power it's being put out of it, but it is not stock. That is 100% for sure. So we've got a stock WRX versus the Audi, but first let me show you a 0 to 100, and let's get that out of the way. Go! Smashing me! Oh, we're gripping now! Wow, I can't believe how much this thing's slipping. It's insane. Okay guys, so as you can see, the Audi got absolutely smashed. So what we're going to do is put the car up on the hoist, take the gearbox out and put this new clutch in it. Now if you'd like to see a more detailed video on how to change one of these clutches, go and check out our app from mechanicalwarriors.com.au. You can also download it from the App Store. Just search Mechanical Warriors. We've also got other content on there, as well as a 1200 horsepower Supra giveaway, so go and check that out. Another thing I want to touch base on is this $100 note. I'm going to be hiding this somewhere in Cairns for you to find it. To find it, all you got to do is keep watching. I'm going to leave 2 clues in this video as to where it is. Just go and find it and she's all yours. All I ask, if you do find it, just send us a quick video, say thanks, whatever. If you guys like the content so far, give us a like and subscribe. Let's get stuck into this build.
This was actually my first time ever working on an Audi, and once you're familiar with the way things are put together, it makes the process so much easier. The gearbox removal was not as hard as I thought it would be. Now if you want to see a more detailed video on how to remove the gearbox from this car, please download our app Mechanical Warriors from the App Store or check out our website www.mechanicalwarriors.com.au.
If you're doing this from home, guys, to get this gearbox out, you're going to have to drop the subframe. I thought we could do it without dropping the subframe, but turns out you can't. So drop the subframe.
And by dropping the subframe here, guys, I mean just dropping it, not removing it completely. You need an extra 35mm or so of clearance and the gearbox will come right out. Again, for more details on this, check out the free courses in the course section of our app.
Okay guys, so we've got the gearbox out. It's time to get this old damaged clutch out. We've got our new clutch over here that's going to go in. This has to actually be set up right when we put it in. We've got to use these spacers here to basically set the end plate. So that's all got to be adjusted when we put the new one in. So let's get the old one out, new one in, and get it back in the car.
This process is not as easy as it looks, and it changes depending on what sort of gearbox you have. The one we have is an OGC model, which is a 7-speed DCT automatic gearbox. To set up the clutch correctly, you need a dial indicator to measure the end float of the gearbox shaft and the play that the clutch has on the input shaft. There is a calculation you need to do which will give you the correct spacer size to use when installing the clutch. Now it's time to put the box back where it belongs. Be careful lifting these gearboxes, guys, as they are extremely heavy for the size they are. Now all that's left to do is nuts and bolts. If you know what you're doing, you should be able to complete this process in around about 4.5 hours. But take your time, and I would recommend watching our free course on how to remove this gearbox before you attempt it. Trust me on this, it will save you a lot of time.
Okay guys, so the car is now finished. We've got the gearbox back in. Did have a few dramas with that when I first did the gearbox. I muffed up the calculation for the spacers in the clutch. Ended up having to pull the whole gearbox out, redo it. So make sure you get the right calculation. I ended up using the wrong calculation for a different type of box, and that's where I went wrong. So make sure you've got the right calculation for your type of box, or just check out our course on how we're doing it and it'll explain it in more detail there. So the next job, what we're going to do is take this car out and re-race this WRX again to show you the difference in how much power we can now put down to the road, whereas before it was just slipping and we couldn't really go anywhere. So let's go race. I'm pumped.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go! Such a difference, like just having that clutch grabbing, it just launches, like it really plants you in your seat. It's such an awesome feeling. Like I just love this car. It's so awesome. Anyway, we're gonna head back to the workshop and hide this money somewhere in Cairns, so stay tuned.
Okay guys, so we're all done with the Audi with the clutch. We've got it all sorted out. One of the things I wanted to tell you about towards the end of the video was what I'm going to do for these little brats that stole my truck. So we're planning a sting operation which we're putting together. We're going to go and buy a car from the auctions, outfit it with cameras and plant it somewhere on the streets of Cairns, and we're going to basically let them steal it. When they do, we're going to lock them in the car and have all sorts of booby traps and stuff go off. It's going to be awesome. So stay tuned for that.
The next thing that we're going to do with this Audi is race it against a Mercedes CLA 45 AMG. Now this thing, it's actually one of my brother's car. We're going to race it. He reckons it's going to beat it. If he does beat it, we're then going to make this thing go faster so that we can win. I want this thing winning. So the next thing that we've got to do is hide this $100 bill. So we're going to go into somewhere in Cairns, hide that $100 bill, and we'll leave the clues somewhere. All right, so we're driving around Cairns, the CBD area, looking for a spot to hide this money, and I believe I have the perfect location. So stay tuned, everyone. Look at this beautiful place where I'm walking through, and anyone in Cairns should know where this place is. And this is clue number 2 as to where that money is. Now, if you're looking for clue number 1 and you haven't seen it already, it's a silent clip and it's been placed somewhere within this video. So if you've missed it, go back through the video and start again and look for that clip. Okay guys, so wrapping up the video, we've showed you the race with the WRX and the Audi. We replaced that clutch. There's a couple of new courses that we're going to be updating soon to the app, so make sure you check that out. Also beside us here is the Supra giveaway that we are going to be giving away once this thing is done, so you can keep track of that progress on the app. Another thing that we're going to be showing soon, you can stay tuned for, is a race against the Audi and a CLA 45 AMG, which is my brother's car. He thinks it's going to beat the Audi. Possibly could. If it does, we're going to boost that thing up so that we win this race. Well, we win the second race. But in talking about the Audi, let us know, what do you want us to do to this Audi? Should we make it stupid power? Should we raffle it away? Let us know in the comments, what do you want us to do with this Audi? Now, another thing I want to talk about in the upcoming video that we've got coming soon is a video about my truck. Now, as you can remember, when I started this Audi, my truck was stolen from me. It's actually 4 months ago, but it has been returned to me. I've got it back. It's here behind me. Let's go have a quick look at it. My old baby, my baby has returned. It's returned to me. It's got a few little dings and scratches and whatnot on the side. You can see they've dinged up the doors a little bit and it's absolutely covered in shit. But we are going to bring this back to its former glory. So stay tuned for that. The next video is going to be a full and complete story about this truck, what happened, where it went, the whole thing. So that'll be our next release. So keep an eye out on that. And as always, guys, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel, and see you for the next one, guys.